The road's getting that start. Listen, we'll get to the baseball in a second, but my big takeaway, Marquis Grissom, one of 15 kids. His parents lived in their 90s and 43 nieces and nephews. Guy was a good player, and now I know why. He was busy all the time.
Great player. He was one of my favorite Atlanta Braves, by the way. He used to just patrol the outfield with the best of them.
And before that, the Montreal Expos. Yes. That's when I competed against Marquis. You know, when you look at the people that are out there, and Harold and CY are there manning the table, but you have Mike Scioscia, and they're talking about catchers. You can't get any better mentor than that. And I think, you know, Carlos will agree. Over the course of a lifetime for a future professional baseball player, there are 3, 4, 5, 10 people that come across your life that are like angels on your shoulders, that bless you with this knowledge that you take forward and keep it in your mind forever. Literally, we sit up at this desk and talk about things that someone talked to us about when we were 8 or 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah, we're never really truly self-made. I mean, I could go back and tell you how much help I got throughout the years, and that's what it's all about. So I love to see the guys giving back and giving back to their community and really helping each other out. Just working in synergy, really, to give these kids an opportunity to be seen.
Yeah, on the one hand, we're looking back at guys who've been great, and then you look at the future. Hunter Green is a guy who's got all the talent in the world, poised, really seems like an impressive young man.
I mean, he doesn't have to be there. He's a young player who usually when you're 22, 23 years old, you're really just concerned with yourself. How do I become better? But instead, he's using his free time to help other young players because he is so amazing when you're around him. You can just tell the energy that he gives off. And this Dream Series, at some point, we'll be standing here and we'll be interviewing one of these kids, and they'll say, listen, the first time I felt like a major leaguer was the Dream Series in Tampa in 2023. That's how it goes.
Absolutely. Pay it forward. By the way, Marquis Grissom faced you 5 times. Want to guess how he did against you?
I would say he hit me well.
No, 1 for 5. Darling wins. Dominant.
Small sample size.
Small sample.
We'll take it, though. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
All right, coming up, the top 10 center fielders right now have been revealed, at least according to our man Brian Kenny and the Shredder. What do we think of the rankings, and how long is Mike Trout going to be the best for? We'll get into it next. Right now, center fielders. If you saw the program, Brian Kenny gave his list, Cam Maven as well. But this is according to the Shredder, which is the last 3 years heavily focused on WAR. Trout's number 1, no surprise. Byron Buxton, the Twins at 2. Julio Rodriguez, there's 3, of course, in a rookie season for the ages. Then you got Brandon Nimmo, Michael Harris II, Brian Reynolds, who could be on the move, Cedric Mullins, Luis Robert, Mike Yastrzemski, and Chas McCormick. So very interesting, I think, especially when you go through that 4 through 10. But I think there's no surprise, Los, with Trout at the head of the class. And Buxton's a guy that I think is intriguing because if he's healthy, he can push Mike to be the best in the game.
Yes, I'm not afraid to go out there and say that he is the best player, or let's say best athlete in all of baseball when he's healthy. We've seen him go and play for an entire week that you're like, in what planet is Boston in? He's just so much better than the rest. Now, the fact is, he needs to stay healthy, and that is the big question mark there.
You know, when I look at this list, and what I love about this list is that everyone has a different reason for being even better next year. Trout, of course, want to build on that legend. Buxton being healthy, like you said. Julio Rodriguez, what an initial year. He wants to be Ken Griffey Jr. Brandon Nimmo made himself into a really capable center fielder. That's why he's 4th on that list, because he's always provided that offense. Michael Harris probably made the biggest influence on a team for a rookie in quite some time. I mean, they were a team that was looking for a way out of a 500 season, and he came along, and after that, their record was the best in baseball.
And I got to say, I mean, I've seen Julio Rodriguez play, like when he was out in the Dominican Republic. I saw him when he was really young. It was impressive immediately, right? Now, I went to watch the Braves play this year, and I saw Michael Harris run a ball in the gap. And I'm telling you that I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, I've seen Ichiro go out there and get some fly balls, and it was extremely impressive. Michael Harris just blew my mind. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him climb up that list sooner rather than later.
Remember, he called up from AA as well. They didn't just skip AAA. Right? Like Monopoly.
What a talent.
Do not pass go. Just go right all the way around. Here's the question, Ronnie. At some point, Trout has to be in decline, but I still feel like he can be number 1 for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
We're looking at a different kind of athlete. You know, he's as strong as anyone that's ever played the game, built perfectly for this game, so quick, loves the ball down. Just love watching him play. And I don't see any decline. Where's the decline? Maybe he doesn't steal bases as much. His defense probably isn't as strong as it was early in his career. But as far as when he stands up at the plate, it's the same fear that you had 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Last 162, he's hit 49 home runs, OPS over 1,000. Julio, obviously, the sky's the limit. But again, to your point, Lewis Buxton, 52 home runs in his last 162 games. That's monster numbers.
And he just has lightning quick hands. But, you know, I've seen that happen before. We have such an athletic player that it's almost like their own bodies cannot even contain them. That's Byron Buxton to me. So finding out a way to stay healthy, and we may see one of the game's greatest players has ever existed. Yeah. But you have to be on the field, and that is the key there. And I know the Twins did an amazing job on trying to figure out which way to manage his playing time to keep him on the field.
Load management, they call it.
Let's think about Trout. He only played 120 games, but 40 home runs. His efficiency is crazy.
If you don't manage the play, you become a load. That's what load management is.
I love that thought process. But it goes back to your point. Again, it's all about the best ability is availability.
Yeah,
exactly.
Indeed.
And I think, by the way, about list the second half, Luis Roberts, the guy. I go again. If he's healthy, this guy's a load.
Another big body guy, Brian Reynolds. Everyone in baseball wants him on their team. They're looking to trade him. Cedric Mullins with that monster 2021 season. We saw what McCormick could do, especially right field pop during the postseason.
And Mike Yastrzemski, Carl's thinking, come on, we should have the shredder around when I was playing. Carl Yastrzemski was on that.
Oh yes, indeed.
Still to come here at MLB Tonight. We all know Aaron Judge is a key player, but now he's the key player. He's hitting the keys to the city. Who else should get keys? And what city does Ron Darling already have the keys to? That's after the break.
Don't ask that question.
Astros strike. Again, the rich getting a little bit stronger. They make the deal to get Garrett Cole.
I was just tremendously excited. How do you ask for anything more than to be coming to the World Champions?
I mean, they got, in my mind, a guy that can be an ace.
We've celebrated a lot this winter, and I've said at some point we're gonna turn the page and get to the next season, and that's coming very, very soon.
Oh, we began the show talking about Andrew McCutchen returning to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, Garrett Cole was once a Pirate, heavily hyped prospect in that massive trade on this date in history. January 13th, 2018. 5 years ago, he goes to the Astros in exchange. Joe Musgrove, who of course has now blossomed with the San Diego Padres, Michael Feliz, Jason Martin, and Colin Moran. And of course, the Pirates looking for like a Brian Reynolds type big trade like that, as he right now is on the market. We continue here on MLB Tonight. Carlos Pena, Ron Darling, Adnan Burke. It's always every 14-year-old's fantasy, right, Ronnie? You say, okay, if I could make this trade, I would do this, I would swap this guy. And it's fun to go back and revisit it. Garrett Cole, we all knew he was going to be special, but you saw with the Pirates, he went to a different level once he went to the Houston Astros.
Well, it's interesting. The Astros did it 3 times, really, when I think about it, with established veteran pitchers, Zach Greinke, Cole, and Verlander, right?
Yes.
3 guys that became even better in a Houston uniform. And a lot of it was, if you watch Garrett Cole when he pitched in the Pirates uniform, there was a lot of two-seam in his game. There was a lot of ground ball in his game. There weren't as many strikeouts in his game. And when he came over to Houston, they took that two-seamer away, made him 4-seamer up in the zone with that good breaking ball, and he struck out 300.
Yeah, and actually, if you think about it, just moving over there and meeting had to do precisely with Brent Strom.
Yeah. Big time.
Brent Strom, man, he is a magician when it comes to working with pitchers. And look what happened to Verlander as well. There's no reason, there's no secret. Brent Strom was the key there to turning, these pitchers into going up to the next level. And now we see where Cole is, is one of the highest paid pitchers in the game.
Yeah, $324 million has worked out well for him. Maybe if Musgrove was still the Pirates, that trade would look a little bit better. But it's fun to look back at some of these other monster trades and just exactly how these things went down. Juan Soto, of course, the jury's still out. You felt like, Los, this was a home run, and yet didn't hit the ground running.